We now come to the XPRIZE, and if you've not heard about the XPRIZE, then pay careful attention, because it's a pot of money, $119 million to be precise, that has been assigned as part of a 5-year global competition to drive access to clean water from reliable, sustainable and affordable sources. The person leading this fine initiative is Dr. Greenlee, and I spoke to her about the program and how it could benefit not just the innovators and utilities, but also potential supply chain partners. I started by asking her to explain what the XPRIZE is.
So XPRIZE is a 30-year-old nonprofit organization. We've been around for a while, and we design and run global incentivized prize competitions. And we focus on technology as a vehicle for, moving things forward and causing change to happen.
Incentivize, that's an incentivized prize. Does that mean money?
Yes, it means money. So all of our prizes have a prize purse, and all of our competitors compete to win. So it's, in essence, the opposite of a grant. So a grant, you get the money at the beginning for then conducting your work.
I see.
In a prize, we pay for success. So our competitors have to compete in the prize, demonstrate their technology, and then the winners win the prize purse.
And could they have had the funding from a grant to get there? Could they have had funding from other philanthropic bodies and they get to that end point and then, well, hey, they win the prize as well, and so they can do more with it? Is that?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Wonderful. Right, now this is the Water Action Platform, and the XPRIZE is much broader than water. So why are we talking about you on the Water Action Platform?
So we have recently launched our largest prize ever, called Water Scarcity.
Quite right that it should be the largest prize in water, may I?
I agree. So Water Scarcity is focused on desalination, and XPRIZE really tries to work in spaces where there's a gap in innovation, a gap in financing, a gap in progress. And so with our sponsor for this prize, the Mohammed bin Zayed Water Initiative, so we identified a gap in desalination that could be very prizable, which is the technology essentially has stagnated. We haven't seen huge step change innovations in the desalination sector for multiple decades. And meanwhile, water scarcity is a global issue. Now, desalination is a small piece of it, but it is a way for us to go after water scarcity issues.
So there you have it, a big, huge pot of money to help us turn seawater into drinking water. The program was launched in February 2024 and runs for 5 years. Now, bearing this in mind, I also asked Lauren what it was they were actually hoping to achieve in their first year.
So the first year is focused on attracting competitors. So we are recruiting teams to come and enter the competition. Teams can register through the first quarter of 2025. And so that is our entire focus for this year.
Excellent. So I'm an innovator. I might be in a university, or I might be in a corporate. I might be just a bloke who's come up with a whizzy idea. I can register on the website, and I need to register in this first year. Otherwise, I don't have my lottery ticket. I'm not in the race. Correct?
That's correct. So at xprize.org/water, we have our registration open. Teams need to register. Once they register, they get access to you can see all of the other teams that are actually registered. So they get visibility into the competition, and they also then are part of our communications. So it's really important actually that teams register as soon as possible, because then they get updates from us and they can be on our webinars. We do team events all through this year. We're already starting to do team events
because we want everyone to be successful. But only one person, only one team is going to win, I assume.
Well, so the prize purse actually breaks down. So there are 3 grand challenge prizes. So first, second, and third and we have 2 parallel competition tracks. So there's actually 6 grand prizes. So 3 and 3. And then we give milestone awards and moonshot awards. So there's actually a number of ways in which the teams can win over the 5-year period.
Hence the reason you described it as an incentivized program. You'll keep being successful. You'll keep getting goodies. If you're not successful, you won't. Okay. And the first year, and by the first year, we mean up until April of next year. But anyone sitting there thinking, well, I've got a great idea. Register now. Get registered on the system because there's lots of feedback you're going to get. All right. Now, couple of things. I've got 2 things for you. So one is, will you promise to come and keep us informed? Can you share with us who's going on? Can we revisit this maybe every 3 months? Let's have a little. I want you to tell me who's in the race. And
absolutely, I'd love to
join you in an exciting journey of watching them succeed or not succeed, not fail, because they'll learn. Even when you don't succeed, you haven't failed.
Right.
You've just learned something. And secondly, I think part of what you're doing right here, right now, part of the reason you're talking to me is because you're building an ecosystem. And it's not just about organizations like ISLE that can help you tell your story. You're also looking for others that can come alongside you. Now, can you just tell me a little bit more about them?
Absolutely. So the way we think about it is the prize is just the first step in success for the end goal, which is to make desalination more widely accessible globally. And to do that, you have to create an ecosystem that continues beyond the time of the prize. And so we look at building an ecosystem of a range of partners and organizations that can intersect in different ways. So everything from, for example, equipment partners that might end up collaborating or working with our teams to compete, to
it needs to be not just
partners.
A technical success, it needs to
Absolutely.
be a commercial success. So you need people who can build it and license it and sell it. You need people, utilities or asset owners that can operate it.
Integrators, yes. Financiers, infrastructure financing for larger projects, or, financing for particular regions of the world. So yes, we build an ecosystem to include all of those kinds of partners.
And one of the things I like about the XPRIZE is the inclusivity. I mean, you mentioned that the sponsor, you mentioned that it's sort of come from a Middle Eastern genesis, but actually the scope of this is Global South just as much as Global North.
Yes. And in fact, both XPRIZE and our sponsor were very aligned on this, that desalination, and you and your audience likely know this, is largely accessed by wealthy nations. And we want it to be more equitably accessible. And that means innovation, that means bringing the cost down. And both our sponsor and XPRIZE, that is a big goal of this competition.
Thank you, Lauren. What a great initiative. $119 million US. Not a grant, it's a prize, hence the name. If you want to know more, then this text in red is the link that you need to follow. And as discussed, we will get Lauren back in a few months' time to share with us how she's getting on. Who are the runners and riders in this particularly exciting race?